Let's go ahead and add a couple of controls on here. I'm going to go ahead and select the command button, which is this icon right here, and then I'm going to drag and create the command button right here in the middle of the form. And then I'm going to take a label, which is this control right here, and I'll place a label right underneath it. By default, when you place a control in a form, the caption properties are going to equal the name property of that particular control. So if I select my label, I can go to the caption, which is already down here that says label 1. And what I want to have happen is I don't want anything to be seen in my label at all. So I'm going to hit backspace, I'm going to delete it so that there's no words during the initial execution of my application. I will then select the command button. The caption is already highlighted because that was the last property that I was working with. It says command 1, so we're going to go ahead and change that because command 1 doesn't really mean much. And we want the caption of the command button to mean something when somebody looks at that. So we're going to say resize. So now I have a form with one command button in the middle and one label underneath it. So let's take a look at what we need to do to place some code here. If I select my form and I go ahead and take a look at the values of the height and width, remember I put them both at 4,000. So what we'll do is that when we select the command button, what we'll do is we will make it so that the size of our form changes to 3,000 instead of 4,000. To place the code on that, what we want to do is we want to know that when an event fires for us pressing this command button, we want something to happen. So by double-clicking on the command button, we will see another window. This is going to be our code window. And then you'll be able to see, if you look up here at the top, that this is a subroutine for the click event of the command button, command 1. So here's where I would put my code. Here we're going to put form1.width, and notice that the IDE is prompting me for valid entries. And I want to set that equal to 3,000. And I'm going to make the height equal to 3,000 as well. So when I click on this command button, it is going to run this code. And the only thing this code is going to do is going to assign these values to the properties of this control. The other thing I'd like to do is put some words within that label itself. So that label is called label 1, and its caption property is what controls what it is that the label actually says. And I'm going to set that equal to something that lets us know that now the form is smaller. I'm assigning a value to a property of a control during runtime, during the execution of my application. Now if I want to see how this works, then I will go ahead and try it and run my application. This is one of the most powerful pieces of the Visual Basic environment because not only have I only written 3 lines of code at this piece, but what I can do is I can actually run my whole application and see how these 3 lines